What's poppin'? My name is Richie Tunes, and wait, I never said Richie Tunes before. That is weird. Today we have update 17.40, and ladies and gentlemen, this one is packed. This one is actually packed. There's a ton of very cool stuff. So with that being said, let's get right into it. Alright, so let's start in with the highlights, and for me there's three main highlights which I have here. The first one being the new plasma gun being added to creative. Really cool thing. It's definitely one of the more unique guns in the game overall, and definitely a cool addition to creative. Nothing too special here, but in general I think adding all the BR guns to creative is always a good thing. Alright, so this next big highlight is definitely the alien nanite. So this is this big cage which you can throw, and you can basically jump in it, you can fly around in it. It's super cool. I was hoping this was going to be the device which you can turn on and off or can have forever, but obviously a throwable is cool as well. I wasn't expecting this to come too early to creative, but now it's in creative with a throwable, so it's pretty cool. But as I said, I would really love to see this as a device so you can turn it on and off and have it on forever. So this one disappears like after 1 minute or so. So yeah, let's move on to the next one. And yeah, as you guys can already guessed, the inflatable was definitely in creative as well now, and it's super fun to play around with. Definitely deserves a spot on the highlights list. A really fun device, and yeah, you can pop it up. I think it's in the consumables right now, and yeah, it's the same thing as in BR. Super fun, and I can definitely see how a lot of people can make very creative maps with this one. Up next in creative, also new, we have a few new consumables in creative. First of all, we have 5 new Halloween themed consumables, which each have their different own abilities. So for example, you can see here that Tomo Taffy has this night vision look. Then there's also some other ones which have different abilities, such as like a hop rock, or you can just heal yourself, recover shield, stuff like that. Super cool. They obviously come very handy with the newest creative callout, where you have to create the best Halloween maps and then submit them to the forum, which is shown on the website. Obviously everything in the description, and yeah, wish you best of luck with the Halloween themed stuff. Also, there is the slurp mushroom, which I think a lot of people had before because it was glitched or something, but now it's officially in the game. You can finally put it on your map and then use it as the number one. And obviously, as already said, the inflatable is also new as well. Alright, so there are no new devices, but there are a few really important changes to devices which you have to know. So starting off first, the campfire is now a fully customizable device. You can use it now with different settings. You can see here that if we go into the advanced settings tab, there's a ton of new settings. You can have start lit, can be lit, the time to lit. You can set basically anything that you ever dreamed of having in a campfire in here. You can have use wood, no or yes. You can have the starting wood, how much it heals. You can even have different channels for each of the different areas. If you leave, if the campfire is pulsing, stuff like that. Super crazy that this device is now finally an actual device. It has been in the game for probably the longest for the devices that have been like not really touched or redesigned. But it's now a fully functional prop device. You can turn it whatever you want. A really cool change here. Also, a few settings in the speakers changed, and there's now 4 new settings, which is can be heard. You can now have investigators, investigators only, or everybody. You can have a specific location where you can hear the device, and you can even have channels for registered and unregistered players. So that's definitely a more specific change here, and definitely something that is coming for a game mode that is currently in BR. So you can recreate this in creative as well. But it's really cool and definitely something that is needed in this device. The tracker device now also has a big change to it, which is super important, and that was the score. You can now finally have score in your tracker device. Before that, it was only eliminate, eliminations, and channels. So you had to do the scores with the channels, which was a little bit annoying, but now you can finally have scores here. And I think the target value is now, yeah, it's now up to 10,000, which is kind of insane. So you can have pretty big scores in here, but the score change here is obviously a big thing and really needed in this device. Alright, small changes to the events as well. There's a new option, or 2 new options, which are allowing us to enable and disable the VFX and sound effects. I think that's an important change here, so you can use it for more than just something to jump up. It can basically now used as a silent way to boost people. Really cool. You might wonder what this device is, but this is actually not a new device. It's actually an old device which now has a few new settings, and this is the color changing tile. I know it's not the most used device by any means, but this device usually looks like this. And definitely now looks a lot more familiar to you guys, but you can now have the option to change the appearance to disco. This one is basically the same as the block in the cube gallery, and it changes the color with the team that you're jumping or starting onto this one. The race manager apparently got some UI changes. I personally have to admit I don't see a lot of changes here. Maybe it's a little bit clearer, but for me it still looks almost the same. So I'm not sure what exactly changed here, but if they say they changed something here, then there's probably something that is a little detail which makes it just a little bit more clearer. So that was a change that is in the patch notes. Okay, so the next one comes to the shooting gallery, and this one is probably the biggest one for people that are actually making practice maps, aim maps, stuff like that. The shooting gallery, as of now, has finally channels. So you can finally enable, disable, and even set a channel on a hit, which is massive. This was asked for so long, and people always asked for these to actually get channels, because obviously they're kind of useless without them. They just do whatever they want if you just hit them and then they pop up randomly. It's a little bit annoying, so having actual channels and having channels that they actually transmit something on is super amazing. And for the last device here, we have some changes to the radio. There are now a few new tracks in the radio, obviously all spooky themed, since this basically the entire update is a little bit around spooky themed. So for the Halloween callout, so you can make your maps a little bit more realistic to Halloween. And yeah, hey. Also, one thing which I noticed, which I'm not 100% sure because it's not in the patch notes, there's a new option which is called hide back bling. I'm not sure if there was in the last update or not, but you can now hide your back bling with these options here. And yeah, definitely let me know if I'm crazy or if that actually got added randomly into the game as well. So for the gallery set I've created, there's nothing really too much new. There's 4 new trees which you can now find in the Evasion prop gallery, or nature gallery actually. And these are these 4 birch trees, and yeah, that is basically all new for the gallery sites. Nothing too special here, but obviously the last 4 updates were amazing, and this one as well is kind of cool. So yeah, I'm not blaming them for not adding a gallery. And yeah, Creative 2.0 is coming a lot closer, and with that being said, I'll see you guys back in the next video.